No, I have money.
You have money?
Yeah. I mean, I continued to tour even beginning, before that happened and then throughout. So it's, I've been pretty blessed that I have great fans. And
yeah, sure.
I'm in a good spot.
I mean, it's unbelievable. What do you think of comics who are working, and is there a certain age they should give it up, hang it up? Like,
if they're not making it?
If a guy hits 50 years old.
I was doing gigs, Howard, with Rodney. I used to host for Rodney at the Laugh Factory, before he passed away.
Sure.
Still, when he would come in with an earpiece on, and his girl would sit up in the balcony and are you going to go into the thing about the, your wife and the sexual, she would feed them the lines, and
really?
He was still killing. Rodney would kill. And he would do that thing, too. It was it shows you how, comics were all a little insecure and fucked up. He would come in, I would host, and he would always do this thing, Rodney, where I would have to say, ladies and gentlemen, we have a legend here, Rodney Dangerfield, and Rodney would stand up, and, he would do this, and I would say, Rodney, would you come up for a minute? Would you come up?
And so it was all planned.
Yeah, he had to have this. And he'd say, no. And I would have to say to the crowd, do you guys want to see Rodney? And they would go, yeah. And Rodney would kind of, do his thing. And then, come, Rodney, you're going to... And, I was making him come up. But every time...
Did he need that because he wanted it to seem spontaneous, that all of a sudden he just came up and blew away the crowd, or did he want it because he didn't really want to be in a small club and he was just doing everyone a favor?
I think it's like that thing where I know if you don't do stand-up for a little bit, not only do you get you feel like a newbie all over again, but you just feel do they care, or they get, this...
Rodney was insecure to the day he died, is what
I believe so, yeah.
Wow, isn't that something, with all of his success?
Yeah, man.
And all the
but
movies
I believe you can do stand-up until you're,
Why is it important to you as a stand-up comedy guy to... I see guys do this. You beat Dave Chappelle's record of staying on stage for over 6 hours. There seems to be some sort of longevity.
What is the reason for that, Rick?
Yeah, why do you need to do that? I don't understand what the thing is there.
It really wasn't. It was a local... It's not a world record. I think some dude in, Europe stayed on stage for 9 days or some shit.
You were on 7 hours. You did 7 hours straight on stage.
I did.
Is that hard for the audience? I mean, I don't care who you... I don't care if you're Steve Martin. I mean, it's 7 hours on stage.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. Why did you do it?
Because it was, there was a record at the Laugh Factory that Pryor had set 3 hours, 50 minutes, and then I had done 4.5 hours years ago, and then Chappelle came and was like, man, I'm going to break that Dane Cook's record, man. Give me the mic. And so he went up, and he did 6.5 hours, but, if you know Dave, 4 hours of it was lighting a cigarette.
Yeah.
Very slow and deliberate.
Moving a stool for... Right. Dave's got man, I'm going to move the stool, man. Blow a smoke ring, man.
It's a good bit.
So when you're growing up, who is the person that inspired you?
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin, right?
That was the comedy album that I held on to, and my sister saw him at Madison Square Garden, and I remember the night she came home, I was 14, 15, and she said, I just saw this guy, Dane, and he stood on stage, and she told me that he did this, 20,000 people, and I said, I'm going to play Madison Square Garden someday.
Was anybody in your family a comic, or where do you get that from?
Everybody was kind of funny.
Right.
Yeah.
But
either funny or stealing money.
But it takes right. But it takes balls, which is funny if you're not the guy getting stolen from. Well, it does take balls to get up on stage that first time. Were you horrible the first time you got up?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The first few years are just absolutely, cringeworthy when you kind of watch it back, but... Yeah.
I feel like a lot of comedians are jealous of you. I think maybe it's the internet thing and the tremendous success with playing stadiums, right? Joe Rogan accused you of stealing his material. Do you get that a lot? Do you feel that's out of jealousy, or do you feel there's some legitimate claim there?
No, I don't. It's definitely not legitimate claim, right. But, the thing is about it, it's tough to talk about from the perspective of a person. You're the perfect example. You start to get the success, and then there's the same people that were once saying you're the shit, you're the next big thing. Every DJ for a couple of years was like, playing my bits and touting me, and I knew I was already in like the
fetal position.
Like, I'm gonna get smashed.
Rolling Stone magazine called you like the up-and-coming great comedian of all time, and then the following year when you had your success,
like the following week,
the following week said you were a piece of shit and you don't deserve any success.
Oh, that's nice. I've been nice.
I know.
But you know what? But I know that feeling because
that's a turnaround.
I've been on the cover of Rolling Stone twice. The cover of Rolling Stone was a big deal to me.
Of course.
And then I remember when we started on satellite, after our first show, the guy wrote a review and said that we were the worst thing ever. We were great until then, and then we got on satellite, we were terrible. And it upset me, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, when you're... I love comics. I respect comedy, the art of comedy. It's all I ever wanted to do since I was a kid. So when people that you respect especially are the ones kind of, slinging at you, it's confusing.
Right.
If anything else. But I never really responded to it because it's just superfluous. And you're not a thief a little bit. You're a thief entirely, or you're not. And if you look at everything I've done, you can clearly see that, these are my ideas, and, I don't know.
Right.
People say what they're going to say, man.
That's right. But you don't let it bother you. But you are an angry guy.
I'm an angry guy.
You have a couple of incidents which are very interesting here.
I do?
Yes. It says here, according to the New York Post, Dane was once kicked out of Smith & Wollensky Steakhouse for being too difficult.
Absolutely
According to an employee, Dane's assistant ordered for him. He got a steak and sent it back 3 times. The chef was furious. Eventually, we told him enough is enough, and they threw you out of Smith & Wollensky.
That is not true. It's the chicken parmesan, those douchebags. No, that's absolutely not true. I laughed when I read that. Not true at all.
So, in other words, there's no fact there at all.
I've never been kicked out of any restaurant my entire life.
That was Sam Cook.
I said this earlier this morning. The Post once wrote that I bought a stripper at Scores, a brand new car or Mercedes or something.
But when you're famous, you have to actually ask yourself, is somebody impersonating me out there and doing these things?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of...
But when I read that, I'm like, okay, not only is it a slow news day, but they're like, let's make up some real boring slow news. It's like, take an A-lister to lie about.
As of June 2007, Dane was single. Then he dated Costa Rican singer Raquel Houghton.
Yeah,
that sounds hot to me.
She's beautiful. I'm with her now. I'm back with Raquel Houghton.
Are you living with her?
Girlfriend?
Yeah, she's beautiful.
And she sings.
She sings. Except she just had a tonsillectomy that went wrong.
Yeah.
And she was hemorrhaging and bleeding, and she's not singing right now.
But she will be able to again?
Yes.
Tonsillectomy.
Yeah.
What got caught in her throat? This is a hot chick. Are we marrying this one, or is no way you'll ever get married? Because
I don't know. I don't know what I feel about marriage entirely. But
you in love with her?
Yeah, she's cool.
You're in love?
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah.
That must be awfully good what you're getting over there.
I don't masturbate violently anymore.
I got to see a picture of this chick.
I masturbate lovingly.
Young chick? How old are we talking about?
17.
17,
no.
Nice. From Costa Rica. Those are impressionable girls.
She's beautiful.
Yeah. Very, very nice. You met the family?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, this is the greatest. 2008. Jessica Alba, I guess you worked with her on a movie.
I did.
Hot chick, right?
Mm-hmm.
No interest in her?
Oh, yeah. But she had a boyfriend.
She had a boyfriend.
Yeah.
No chance for romance.
No.
She says, and this is what I would do on a film. She says that you purposely did a lot of extra love scenes and nude scenes with girls in order to, mess around with the girls.
Oh, my goodness.
Purposely did nude scenes.
Jessica Alba accused you.
I purposely wrote nude scenes.
Just
accused you and other cast members of tricking female extras into shooting unnecessary sex scenes for their own enjoyment on the set of Good Luck Chuck.
Yeah, this sounds legitimate.
Now, why would she say... Did you get along with her when you made the movie?
Oh, yeah. She's cool people.
Did you ever call her up and say, why are you saying this about me?
I did.
So what did she say?
She said, she wrote me an email back saying, things are misconstrued and the entire thing wasn't quoted. And I'm like, what was the beginning or ending of that quote? Hey, watch me be ironic. Hey, I'm about to go into Bizarro world for a minute.
I mean, if you were going to do that, do the scenes with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I don't know anything about what this...
I mean, because that seems kind of, seems kind of sleazy, and it's a really damaging accusation, I think.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, who would do that?
It continues to show up in print every time you want to do an interview.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's the whole thing is, all this, that's what's really interesting is, like, everything sticks on the internet. Everything is fresh news, like, even the Joe Rogan, like, I have nothing with Joe, or even, like, Louis C.K., like, we worked all that stuff out.
Louis C.K. was another comedian who gave you shit and said you ripped off material.
Yes.
And you called him and you said, look, here's what I'm doing.
I wrote him a passionate email.